Hi friends, welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny and we live and garden here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. Today I'm filming a couple of different projects going on. You will have already seen my video about moving my black-eyed Susans from this garden space out to behind our back fence. So while I'm waiting for the sun to go away from that area before I can plant those, through movie magic, we're going to go ahead and do this video, which is going to be about rearranging this garden once again. I think I've probably done 3, 4 videos about rearranging this north side garden, but here's another one. I like to move my plants around like I like to move my furniture around. So come with me and let's talk about how we can make this north side garden even better than it already is. I can't remember if I've done it this spring or last fall, but I know that I recently have done a video about rearranging the flowers, not flowers so much as plants, hostas, heucheras, and a variety of other things, hellebores, all the H plants apparently, plus some other things. So I want to make some changes to this space, and I want to do it because when I planted the things in here, they were much smaller, and I'm an impatient gardener. I want to see plants filled into a garden immediately. And I know that after I plant them, they will grow larger the next season and even larger the season after that. And I just resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to need to rearrange plants now and again, because when I plant them originally, I put them close together for the size that they're going to be that season, not for the size they're going to be in the future. So because of that, I have some plants that I need to rearrange because they've grown too big close to each other. Let me show you what I mean. Standing here in the center of this garden bed, I've got this pot that's got my volunteer Japanese maple in it, plus some annuals. And off to the left of it, I've got a guacamole hosta. Now, this year is twice as big as it was last year. So last year when I planted the things around it, it wasn't in the way. But now you can see this hosta. First of all, this one needs to be divided. It's already divided itself into a couple of clumps. But the back half of it is covered by the guacamole. And then as I come around this way, I have 3 watermelon heucheras. These are the carnival watermelon variety. And they're pretty, but they're covered by this hosta. So I need to move these heucheras out. I also have a lot of hellebores in here, and then there's more hostas back in there. I might leave those alone for now, leave this one alone for now, but definitely these heucheras need to come out. And then over here, I think this one is Palace Purple, although I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure this is Palace Purple heuchera. And then there are 3 heucheras here whose names I forget. And they're kind of all up in the business of the hellebore and that hosta back there. And so I need to rearrange this. Also, right here, this is Blue Hawaii hosta. And next to this one, first of all, they look too similar. And second of all, this one is going to get much bigger than that next year. So I need to make space there as well. And then over here, this is where I took out the black-eyed Susans. This is one plant of epidemium. Is that right? Epidemium? Epimedium. Epidemium. Epimedium? Epidemium? Not sure. Anyway, one plant of it, and I love it, and I definitely want more of that. This is 2 plants of the same spirea that I have in lots of other places in the garden. There's not enough sun here. These are 4 years old in this spot and they're still spindly. So I'm going to take those out for sure. This hosta and this hosta are boring to me. They're lovely green, but they pretty much don't do anything interesting. So I probably will take those out. And then down here, this is a Patriot hosta. I like it, but it's getting crowded out, so I might need to rearrange him as well. So when I take out these 2 spireas and these hostas, I'll have a lot of room in here. I think I'm going to take some of those watermelon heucheras and rearrange them and maybe put some of them in here, maybe not, I don't know. I'm just going to play around with things. I'm going to look at what I have in my stash that might work. I'm going to look at what I have in other parts of the garden that might do better if I put them in here, and so forth. I'm just going to play today. I'm going to get this area cleaned up, cleaned out, and then make some decisions about what to do with it later. Ah, what a breath of fresh air. I can breathe again. It's not such a jumbled mess again. Yay! Now, I have to say that I have been so inspired by the Shade Garden at Guiding Green Thumbs YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. If you're not following Guiding Green Thumbs, you gotta get yourself over to that channel and watch it. She just did a tour of her shade gardens, and that is my goals for this garden. I really, really love her style. I love the way she puts plants together. Her space is bigger than mine, of course, but I think I can get close to having that kind of a space. And so I am going to think really hard about placement here. Also, funny story. So in one of the previous rearranging of this garden videos that I've done, I just got a comment yesterday or the day before recently, and the commenter was kind of a little snarky, actually. The comment said something like, yes, you have to pay attention to color and texture, but you also have to pay attention to size, and you're putting things way too close together. You're just not getting it. And I read that and I'm like, wow, thanks for sharing. But the comment was actually correct. I didn't put things in here with size in mind, and that is another element that really should be considered, especially for plants that don't like to be transplanted all that often. So I know that hellebores, they don't really love to be transplanted, and anything with a deep root, like I don't have any in here, but like if it were like an evergreen, like a pine or a spruce, they don't like to be transplanted all that often either. So I really should plant things in here thinking about their mature size before I cram them too close together. So I'm going to see if I can come up with a pleasing arrangement of plants that I already own to fill this space and to arrange things in a way that is just more design smart and also color smart and also size smart. So that's my thought. For now, I'm looking to see how things are doing. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave this little hosta here. He's different from my other plain green ones in that he's got smaller leaves, and so I'm going to let him stay there. And then I'm going to leave this Patriot here as well. It took some damage from earwigs, it looks like, but I think overall he'll be all right. So I'll leave Patriot here, and I'm going to leave this epimedium, I think is what it is. I'm going to leave that here, and I'm going to look, see if I can get another one. This is the pink champagne variety. I got it from Valley View Farms a year and a half ago. I love it. It's got beautiful flowers in the spring that I did not expect. It was a delightful surprise. So I'd like to get maybe one or two more to make a nice size clump of it. Back in there, this is a winter gem boxwood, and this is my homage to Linda Vodder. I decided to put some boxwoods in here and eventually have spheres of evergreen in here kind of smattered about. I only have this one so far. There's a little baby gem, no, there's a baby green velvet on that side up against the porch, but as far as this space, this is the only boxwood I have in here so far. But maybe I'll be adding some more round boxwoods. I like this images of a big round next to a smaller round and maybe scattered throughout. So I might be headed that way with this garden as well. This is a Sun King Aurelia. It is not evergreen, and this seems to be doing pretty well here. here's another Sun King that has done horribly here. So this one I'm going to probably dig out and try to baby it in a pot and see if I can get it to revive a little bit. And if I can, then I'll probably plant it somewhere else in the garden so that I can, you know, enjoy it. But it's pretty sickly looking and I don't know why. So I'm going to see if I can fix that. This is just a house plant here for the summer. Back here, this is Henry's Garnet Sweet Spire, and it's doing really well. It had lots of beautiful flowers on it this spring, and it looks really healthy, so I'm pleased with that. I've got 2 Nandina domestica there. That's Heavenly Bamboo, and the goal for those are to grow up tall and cover this fence. Pardon me. In this container, this is a hosta. I don't know its variety. This was a gift from a neighbor, and I don't know which one it is. It's a little yellower than it should be. I need to get some fertilizer on that. Over here, I'm going to take this out right now, and that is a weed. And I'm going to take this out right now. That is a poor little coleus that coleus are not my favorite plant. I did put some of these in. It's not my thing, so out it goes. Okay, so I'm going to dig this out and save it. These are astilbes. This is an impatiens. It's an annual. These are native violets, and so I'm going to leave those in there too. And I'm not sure what else you can see on this particular view. So, yeah, that's what's here right now. I'm not putting anything back in here quite yet. I need to think long and hard about it before I decide what to do in here. Let me get this Sun King out. Doesn't look very kingly at the moment. I'm going to pot this up right now so that I don't forget. All right, I'm here in my driveway. These are my leftover piles of mulch and compost that we had bulk delivered this spring. So I'm going to use this. Put this guy in here. And just like that, he's buried. I don't want to bury him too deep. There we go. Get that root covered. There we go. Give him some water. He'll be good, hopefully. I should label these right now, or I will forget. All right, this is a Sun King. This is not a carrot. Okay, y'all remember that over on this side of the garden, I have another mixture of shade-loving plants. I really love the way this is coming together, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and one other down there, 5 of these Hosta lancifolia, which are plain green with lance-shaped leaves. They are iron horse, what am I trying to say? They are workhorses in the garden. They are wonderful fillers. They grow. This was a little small plant with probably 10 leaves on it when I first planted it 7 years ago. And now it is easy, 3 feet across. And it's the first to emerge in the spring, last to die off in the fall. And it hasn't yet put on its beautiful purple flowers, which I do love. However, I'm glad I have all of these, but they're just fillers, and they've been fillers here for me for a long time. And they've done their job. And now I think what I'm going to do is take out this one and this one and replace those with this Carnival Watermelon Heuchera. I've got 3 of them here. I'm going to take out 2 of them for sure, and maybe take out the 3rd one as well, and put them in where those filler hostas have been. So that's a decision. Let's get that going. I'm going to go get some of my Biotone starter fertilizer, put it in this hole. I'm going to water the hole, and then I'm going to put the Heuchera in here because I want to get it off to the best start possible. All right, I also got a bucket of compost off the driveway just to augment the planting hole a little bit. All right, some Biotone in there. Good. And I'm going to water it first, and then I'll put the Heuchera in there. All right, it's tight quarters back here. I can't believe how much this area has grown since just last year. Now I just water these plants as well so that they would be more amenable to transplanting. Okay, now in here I have a guacamole hosta and a June hosta. I think the June is about at full size, but I know this guacamole will grow bigger before it's done. So I'm going to kind of move this over toward here and let this have room. So I'm not going to plant it exactly where the hosta was. I'm going to scoot it this way. With a shovel. You can see just right over here how dry it is again. So watering the hole is super important in this transplant situation. I'm going to have to water it again before I put the plant in there. We have about from here to here of good soil, and below here is just hard clay. We've been working on this soil, but it takes a while to change clay soil into good garden soil. You can see how slow it takes to let that water soak down in there. Now if I wanted to, I could divide this plant. You can see how it has individual shoots coming up. I'm just going to leave it as one big plant. Okay, so I like having the heuchera there. I think having the red, well, they are mostly green, but the red underside. So the red color in there next to that blue and green June hosta, next to the other green plants, and then the goldish green guacamole. I like those combinations. Now, this is a green velvet boxwood, and I think that the guacamole is too close to it. So I'm going to lift the guacamole and scoot it over so that it's centered between the heuchera and the green velvet. I do have a hosta right here, but it's kind of like really struggling. And then under here are some bulbs, but the bulbs are gone by the time the hosta emerges in the spring. All right, that is centered between these two now. My hosta marker back in. All right. Now this one, this is full size. I think it's mature size. It's been in here 3 or 4 years. I think I'm gonna go ahead and divide this one in half and split it into 2 pieces so that I can have more of this around the garden. Look at my hori hori. Oh, there's a huge root right there. I'll get that out of there. I didn't get it all the way down there, but that's pretty good for now. Now over here on this side, it's looking still pretty empty over there. And then I took out this Palace Purple here, so this has freed up some space. And I took out 2 of the 3 watermelon heucheras from back here. I am going to move that. I just don't know how I'm going to rearrange it yet. So I don't want to take it out of the ground until I know where I'm going to be putting it. Down in this area of the garden, there's kind of a mishmash of things happening. This is wild violets, which I like in the spring, but I don't really like the way they get all mangy looking after the season has gone by. Then I have 3 of these heucheras here, and I don't remember the variety on them. 1, 2, 3. And then I have this, which is a double flowering bloodroot that my daughter-in-law's mother gave to me. And I want to keep this for sure. There's some more violets. These are hellebores. There's weeds and then annuals over there. So to make this look a little bit nicer, I think what I'm going to do is take all the violets out and put them into a location by themselves as if I'm cultivating them as a plant instead of letting them pop up randomly around the garden like they do. Then I'm going to move this heuchera out of the back of there and pull it down front. And I'm going to move this bloodroot over to roughly right beside that impatiens. And that way, when the impatiens are done, the bloodroot will still be here. This is a perennial and it's a ground cover that will spread eventually. I'd like it to be over there, not over here. So then when I pull this one out of here, I can pull it down here and then scoot this one over and then have a nice little triangle of these heucheras instead of having it kind of get lost back there under those hostas and under this hellebore, which is only going to get bigger and fuller. So I want to keep these heucheras out from under that hellebore. And I don't want to move the hellebore because they don't really like to be transplanted. So I'm going to try to keep that there. All right, it's a little wet right now, a little bedraggled, but we've got the bloodroot put right over there, and that will allow it to fill in after that impatiens is gone. It can fill in as a ground cover in here, and then we have 1, 2, 3 eucheras right here in a nice little triangle, and they'll fill in and make a nice clump of the same type of foliage, and they're not covered up by this hellebore, at least not yet. This hellebore is 1.5 years old. It was teeny tiny last year, and it put on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these big panicles of leaves this year. So I don't know how big it's going to get in the long term, but for now anyway, these are not in the way of that. So it's a nice clean look. You're probably thinking I'm crazy for cultivating these violets, but I do love them in the spring. So I don't like them looking messy, but I do like them. So try to keep them looking a little neater, as if I plan to have them here. I don't need biotone for these. They're wild and crazy and come no matter what. All right, folks, so I still have some rearranging that I'm going to have to do in the future. If we look in this section here between this big box and this Japanese maple container, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hellebores, and these are all the large giant type. And I think they're going to kind of fill in this spot. So I'll probably need to move that hosta. I should move this guacamole hosta. And like I said, this carnival watermelon heuchera is just, I mean, it's a beautiful plant. It's just in a bad place here. No one can see it. It's not doing anything good for anything here. So maybe I'll be putting it over in that area. Maybe not, though. I'm not taking it out until I know where I'm going to put it. But I do know it needs to move in the future. This is an elegans hosta, and it'll get to be 4 feet wide at maturity, and this is only its 2nd year, so it's only about 2 feet wide right now. But over the years, it's going to get big. It could fill in this entire space, so I really don't want to put anything closer to it. These 3 chartreuse colored hostas are called Frozen Margarita. I like them. I like them being in the back around this mini Mauvet hydrangea, because the hydrangea's leaves are kind of a gray, dark gray green, and this really brings out this color contrast. I don't always plan to have impatiens here. I just had one extra and I stuck it in there, so that's not a long-term thing. So I will be having to rearrange here. I might either move the astilbes that way, or I might add some more over there to have a nice drift of astilbes. And then let's look this way. Oh, this is another mess for another day. I've got 2 goat's beard plants in here. I've got several ostrich ferns. This is the first year they've grown more than a foot, so I'm surprised. Happy, but surprised. And so I need to do something better to arrange these. Maybe I'll move them so that they're up against the fence. I don't know. I have the 2 nandinas back here that are going to stay because their goal is to cover this fence. This is a Sun King Aurelia, and it is doing okay, but it's not the best ever. This is Actea, or snake root. This is a black negligee variety, and this is its 2nd or 3rd year. Actually, no, it's its 2nd year, but last year when I planted it, it promptly died back to the ground. I thought it was gone, but then it came back this year, and it actually flowered this year. But it's not the most impressive thing, but maybe it's on its only 2nd year. Maybe this is one of those sleep, creep, leap things too. Maybe this will leap next year. I don't know. What else? Let's go around the other way. All right, in here, I can't believe how much this hosta has grown this year. I'll put some footage in here that shows how this garden looked at this time last year. It's amazing the difference. So you can see that this one has really overtaken the Sum and Substance and whatever this variegated one is here. This is a beautiful one. I think I want to move it out away from this green hosta so that we can see the variegated one right here. This is a Sun King Aurelia, also as wimpy. Actually, it's not quite as wimpy as the one I dug out and put in a pot, but almost. Not today, but I will be sometime pulling that out and putting it into a pot as well. So I want to leave this one here and give it more room by moving this one out. And then on this side, this halcyon needs to move out as well into that hole there. Down here, this variegated hosta is one that I just put in there this spring. I had transplanted it from somewhere else. This is called Raspberry Sundae because of the red coloration on the stems. I like it, but I think I need to pull it forward again, away from this green hosta. So a little bit of rearranging to do in here as well. I do have some Brunera in here, of course the Conocloa, and I have some bug loss, some pig squeak. No, not bug loss. Pig squeak is also known as what? I cannot remember. So, but there's 3 little clumps of that hidden under there. And then this, I'm just going to pull this because it looks terrible. So, and then this astilbe is looking good. I mean, it's done for the season, but it grew in nice and thick and nice and tall, so I like that too. And then back here, there are forget-me-not seedlings for next year, and then some Brunera that is struggling but is coming back. So if I move this hosta over, that'll be nice. Leave that one there. Take this one and move it that way. Then that might be a better arrangement for this whole section in here. Oh, and there's a hellebore there too. Well, I've been working in this garden all afternoon, and I got it about half the way I want it, so that's pretty good, but I'm not done. Not done with this. I have a lot of plans for how to make it better. I'm going to clean up, and then I'll do an overview video with it looking really nice. Okay, so I've cleaned things up, and now I'm ready to give you the after, at least today's work, of rearranging this flower bed back here on the north side shade garden. And I didn't do anything over here, so yeah, let's just skip right past here. But when we come down this way, this is where I took out 2 of those heucheras, and so that will change up how this looks back in there a little bit, and I need to work over there, so let's ignore that for now. Okay, down this way. This is where the real work was. Earlier, in a different video, I took out all those black-eyed Susans, and then I also took out the 2 spireas, a hosta. What else? Was there anything else over here? I don't think so. And then down here, I took out a Pallas purple heuchera, and I rearranged these 3 heuchera americanas, which I don't know anything more about them than that. And I slid this over. This is the bloodroot. And so now this area has more of an open feel. There's room for the hellebores to grow in. And there's just a more, I don't know, more breathing room for everything to flush out into its fullest size. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing over here yet. I want to keep epimedium, but I'm not sure if it's going to stay in that spot or move back or what. Also, I want more astilbe, so maybe I'll bring in more astilbe in front here. I don't know. This is just violets. It can move anywhere, and this is just an impatient, so that's an annual, so that can be gone. All right, and then let's look on this side. Took out one of those big green hostas that was here, and I put in the heuchera. I moved around the guacamole, I moved around this hosta, and then I put in a Pallas purple here, and I straightened up all of the Brunera that was here, and I gave the breathing room back to this green velvet boxwood. And then down this way, I popped in another of the heucheras right in here for some red color in there, and then down here, more of the Pallas purple. And then this is the pile of plants that I took out. I've just got them sitting, they're root balls, on the sidewalk right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hostas, 2 spireas. So that's it for today's project, rearranging this flower bed just a little bit. I keep calling it a flower bed, it's really more of a foliage bed, isn't it? But I think it's going to be, well, you know, it's good no matter what I do, I think, because I like all these plants. So it's really just a matter of rearranging them into a more pleasing combination. I have room here for creativity, and yeah. Thank you for joining me today for this garden bed rearrangement project that I've done so many times before. This is not the last time I'll be doing it again. I hope that you enjoyed what you saw. Did you learn anything? Do you have suggestions for me? Did I do something wrong? Did I do anything that I shouldn't have done? Please put them in the comments down below if you have comments for me. Love to hear from you. If you haven't yet, you might consider subscribing to the channel and hit that like button if you liked it. And I will see you in another video real soon, friends. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.